Underground. 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 Underground.
Greetings, surface dwellers. My name is Michael, and these are my chthonic musings. Welcome to RPG A Day 3. Today's word is Tavern. I remember first campaign I ever put together for D&D, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. My players were really tied to the town, the first town that I created, and did a lot of moving about and shopping. And yeah, I had some of the first adventures were like right in town. You didn't have to go far to get where the dungeons were and such. But yeah, they spent a lot of time in the inns and taverns there. With the various events and rumors and people coming and going and games that could be played, perhaps with a little friendly wager on the side, and they loved discussing of what was for dinner and what could they drink, and I remember being inspired by some Robert Silverberg, I think that was the author's name, novel, and he had like fire shower wine or something like that. I'm pretty sure that was the name of it, and I incorporated that into the game, and that became like a big hit. And if the inn ever ran out, it was a big deal. So you could have bandits have kidnapped the local orphanage, and it wouldn't cause as much ruckus as somebody has cut off your supply of the fire shower wine. And in the end, not the end, but later on in the campaign, when you come into like what they call domain play, and wizards are building towers, and thieves are starting their own thieves guild, and the clerics are making temples, and the fighters are creating their own keeps and such. My players, one of the main players built his own inn, his own tavern, the Gleaming Blade. It was named after his sword, which glowed, of course, and was maybe one of the first magic items that I gave out in that campaign. So as a word of warning, make your taverns and inns interesting and places, that kind of inspire, but don't make them too good, because your players will not want to leave them. All right, folks. Today we're just going to do a quick spotlight of a number of different tavern and inn-related RPG products. First up is 220 Inn and Tavern Names by Black Phoenix Press. It's exactly what it says on the cover and a little bit more. So there are, for the 220 Inn and Tavern Names, there's two percentile tables and a D20 table. So let's take a few rolls, see what we get. On the first table, we get a number 26, and it's called The Drunken Dwarf. So that's interesting. We'll see how the dwarf players react to that name. We take a roll on the second percentile table, coming up with a 48, and this is called Purple Hound Pub. Interesting. Let's continue. For the third table, the D20 table, roll a 17, and it comes up with Wet Flint Inn. I wonder how Flint feels about that. For some reason, I'm imagining that this inn has as a feature like a permanent what do you call it? Like illusion, an animated illusion that recreates an event that Flint would rather forget about it, forget about. Uh, and no, you're never going to live it down, right? And so finally, as a bonus, we get a D20 table of tavern rumors. Rolling here, we roll a 2, and we get a rumor: a nearby village has been besieged by large, flightless birds. That can't be good. All right, so the next product is called Cent Taverns by Roan Studio Publications. And this is an interesting product. We get a number of pictures and floor plans, layouts of various taverns, including not only those maps, but also some menus as well. And there's an interesting piece at the very end of it about root cellars and root cellars as tavern alternatives. Or why not both? Next up, we have a product called Tangible Taverns, the Hidden Oak, which is an interesting location because this tavern is built into a tremendously large tree, which happens to be a fir, not an oak. So that's an interesting bit. And it also has rumors, such as, we'll roll on the table here, the village a few days north from here is suffering from some sort of disease. Best to avoid the place. We also have a table of events, including such entries as Capo the Gripply is looking for someone to arm wrestle with him. Odds are 3-1 in favor of Capo. The first challenger to exceed his opponent's opposed strength check by 5 is announced the winner. Interesting. We also get some information about the food that's available at this inn, some of the characters that populate it, and a few adventure seeds thrown in. And I should mention that Tangible Taverns, The Hidden Oak, was published by Rugrat Publishing. And also, let me also mention that, I'm not really highlighting what system these are for. They could be for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, or I think one at least was specifically for Pathfinder. But for the most part, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the maps are the maps, and the menus are the menus, and the rumors can be used in any game. So it doesn't really. That's why I'm not even mentioning it, because you can use these products in any game. All right. Next, I'm going to mention a short product, but filled with some good information, called Tavern Games by Columbia Games Inc. And it's part of the Harn World series. So, part of Harn. And it is, it's interesting. Yeah, it's got a number of different games in it, and the information about them. And I'll mention this could be used as dressing, just to kind of flavor, what's inside of any particular tavern. You could have people, playing some board games, chess, or chess variants, or the gambling games, or what have you. And also, I'll just quickly mention that even though you might have some of these mini games built into your tavern, they can be, like I said, just dressing, just flavor. That kind of gives it a more of a dimension, that these aren't just places to come and grab an adventure, from some shady person in the corner. They can, also be vibrant, living places. And if you do have your PCs participate in the games, you can decide, how much you're going to divert from your regular, gaming. You may not want to, introduce an entire different mini game. You may just want to abstract it, so cut it a little bit short, but still allow them to participate in these things, and that's up to you. You'll work it out. And coming to the next product, we have Barroom Brawls by Raging Swan Press. And this product actually does a pretty in-depth, breakdown of Barroom Brawls, and it has a section on brawl triggers, what started this fight, brawl events, so how you can work through what occurs during the brawl, brawl aftermath, after the dust settles, what's going to happen. And then, some brawler NPCs and taproom features and improvised weapons, which actually reminds me of, I'll just briefly mention some other products that I've already talked about in some of my videos. One is Brancolonia, which has its own tavern mini game. Not tavern minigame, a tavern brawl minigame, which is actually, I think, integral to that game. Like every adventure has to have a tavern brawl, at the beginning of the adventure. And the other game I just want to spotlight, Dragonbane, also has improvised weapon rules. For various different locations, and one of those locations is inns, to facilitate this very thing. And we'll finish up with our final product to spotlight, called Remarkable Inns and Their Drinks by LoreSmyth Publishing. And this is a substantial product at 83 pages of content. With sections detailing several, called Remarkable Inns, each with their own flavor and accommodations and patrons and rumors. Then there's the next section is more generic, more advice directly to game masters about bringing your inns to life. And what's involved in that. And finally, a section about creating your own inn, which includes several tables, including a percentile table of memorable things to characterize your tavern. So let's take a roll on that table. Entry 53 is everyone expects a round of ale from newcomers. If you fail to do this, you are attacked. Well, it's pretty severe. And another table that's in there, percentile table, is story hooks for your inn, including such entries as number 12, haunting cries are heard midwinter at the ruins of Muldron. So yeah, there you go. A lot of talk about what could be happening at your local tavern. And so, until I resurface, may your successes be many and your failures be memorable.